In today's video, I'm going to be taking you guys through my entire brand design process for a brand called Gravik Edge. The brand is all about pushing limits, embracing rebellion, and empowering individuality through bold visuals and sport-like culture. The very first step is asking questions to the client. In this case, we're only doing a constant project, so we're going to be asking questions through ChatGPT, which you guys can also do, and it's a perfect way to get the questions you need in order to go into the right direction when working with a brand. You can ask questions like, what is the brand name and what is the reasoning behind it? What is your brand mission statement? What services or products do you offer? Who is your primary target audience? Essentially, these questions will help you understand the brand, but it'll also give you a sense of direction that the client wants you to go into, and this will help you a lot when you're brainstorming for the logo. With all that information at hand, we can then go and research for ideas. I tend to look through Pinterest and search for keywords related to my brand. In this case, we'll look for snowboarding, skateboarding, BMX, and sporty brands to get a sense of direction and color palettes that are used in this industry. Once you believe you have enough images saved to create mood boards, you then want to import them into Illustrator and make 2 different ones, or you can go with 3 as well. I wouldn't recommend going any further than that, and then obviously you would present this to the client, and then this would give you the sense of direction that the client wants to go into. As you can see, I have 2 completely different options. One is a typical sport business, where the other one is more raw, community driven, which is the direction the brand wants to go with. If you don't know how to create mood boards, let me quickly show you. You want to import all your photos into Adobe Illustrator, then make whatever shapes you prefer for your mood board. Then you want to make sure that the images are underneath those shapes. Once that's done, highlight the shape and the image and then click on Create Clipping Mask. Let's say you want to play with the image inside the shape, you can just double click and it'll allow you to edit the image without moving squares. Now that we've done all our research and we've completed our mood boards and we've essentially presented this to the client, we have a clear direction of where we want to go with this brand. With that being said, we then now have to actually design it. And so the first step, you want to grab an iPad, or if you want to go old-fashioned, you can get a notebook, which I personally prefer. And then you just want to sketch away the ideas that you have in your brain using the research that you have created. Make sure that always look back into the questions that you've asked. That way you can actually keep getting ideas. For example, in this project, when I was looking at it, they always talked about rebellion, and so I tried to incorporate a hand, and I ended up getting a hand incorporated into the G, which is essentially the final logo that I went with. Eventually, you'll find yourself with a finalized logo where you think it's going to be the one. And when you're at that stage, you want to then port it into Illustrator, which you can do by just taking a picture with your phone and airdropping it, or Google Drive, or whatever service you guys use. And at this point, you want to keep in mind that when you're vectorizing the logo, you want to keep it consistent because you want to have balance between the logo. And the best way to do this is create a layer and set the opacity to 50% and place the sketch that you just created into that. Then lock the layer. Then create a new layer and call it logo vector, or whatever you guys prefer. Once that's done, you then want to create lines and circles to get consistency on everything. Once you believe you've finished the setup, we can then use the shape builder tool, which is located here, or you can click Shift M on your keyboard. This tool can essentially remove things or add depending if you hold Alt or not. Let me show you a quick example. If you have these 2 shapes and we aren't holding Alt and drag, it'll connect them, making it a simple shape. However, if we are holding Alt, then it will simply remove this part of the shape as it is cut off by this shape. With that in mind, let's create our vectorized version of the sketch I created. It's also important to make numerous duplicates when working on brand projects because you can quickly make mistakes and would like to go back. It's also nice to see a fully loaded page. Once you've created the vectorized logo, it's time to make different variations. Essentially what I'm saying is don't stop at the sketch, keep going further, just to try to see if you can make it even better than what it already is. For example, if you look at the initial vector here, you'll notice it a bit playful and far from the sporty vibe that we're looking for. However, over numerous changes, I was able to come up with a sporty logo using the previous one that I sketched. Let me show you how you can adjust your logo. There's numerous tools that can help you, but I'm going to show you the pen tool as well as the smooth tool. If you can't find these tools for whatever reason, you can click these 3 dots and it'll showcase all the tools. Now we want to create a duplicate of the vectorized logo by holding Alt and then dragging it to the side. Then we want to drag away with what we want differently. For example, let's make it more flat. Once you think this is the one, you can use the smooth tool to make the lines smooth. And trust me, it works. Make sure not to click the entire shape or it'll apply the smooth to the entire design, which can actually change the logo by a lot. now we essentially have our logo, but you'll probably notice that I'm designing in black and white. And I do this because it allows you to essentially see all the flaws of your logo. Now that we're done with the logo, we can start going with color. And the easiest way to do this is go back to your mood boards, and then you can try to sample colors from the pictures that you chose, or you can also look for inspiration online, or you can go to colors.co, which can generate you color palettes, but it's a little tricky to find something that works for you, but it is a good tool to use once in a while. In this case, I was able to come up with this palette. It's got amazing contrast between all the colors, as you can see here, but it's also got a sporty feel to it, and it definitely stands out. Now we can work on creating some assets such as patterns, icons, and so forth. I've created a heart shape using the logo, but also adjusted the logo slightly to create a rock-on icon. Additionally, I created a pattern using the hands facing different directions. Let me show you how to create a pattern. Let's say we want to make a pattern similar to what I have created. You want to select these shapes, then head over to the Object, Pattern, Make. This will open this menu up, and essentially you want to design the pattern in the middle. This will also create the same shapes on the outside. If you can't see these shapes, simply go to Copies and set this to at least 3 by 3. Once you're confident with the design, head over to the top left and click Done. Now let's grab a shape of your choice, and then head over to Swatches and add in the pattern you've just created. Okay, now we're nearly done, but let's say that the client also wants social media designs for their brand. In my opinion, I prefer to do these in Photoshop. You want to first create a file that's 1080 by 1080 pixels with RGB color mode. Keep in mind that these sizes change depending on where you're posting, so make sure to do your research. Let's start by creating some guides. You can do this by going to View, Guides, New Guide Layout. I'm going with 6 columns, 5 rows, and the gutter 15. If you don't know what a gutter is, it's essentially the spacing between the lines right here. After that, I'm going to give this a margin of 60 pixels all around, which is the space on the outer edge. You then want to lock the guides by going to View, Guides, Lock Guides. This will prevent them from accidentally being moved down the line. When designing these advertisements that you're about to create, you need to make sure that you keep reverting back to your questions just so that you're also on brand. And you also need to make sure to use the elements that you just created, and by that I mean the color palette, the patterns, icons, and of course the logo. For this tutorial, let's design one for skateboarding with this body and title recommended by ChatGPT. I'm going to use Gemsbuck as my title and Poppins as my body, which is what I selected for my brand. With that done, I can then find some imagery. I personally recommend using Unsplash or Pexels as it's free to use and it has high quality stock photography. We've essentially completed the brand design. We have the logo, we have the colors, the brand assets, and we now have the social media designs as well. However, you haven't sold the project to the client yet, and at this stage you would then work on a brand guidelines, but for the sake of this video, I'm not going to do that. We're going to skip and go to Mockups. Essentially, Mockups will help you sell to the client why the logo works and how it would actually look like in the real world. Just make sure that the mockups are related to the field that you're in. For example, I'm not going to make a mockup of a burger joint in this brand because the brand is sports. It doesn't have anything related to that. I recommend using websites like mockupworld.co, creatum.com, mrmockup.com, mockuptree.com, or goodmockups.com. I'll have these all in the description below. And that is my whole branding process when it comes to brand design. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and learned a lot. And if there's any questions, you guys can leave it in the comments. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more videos like this. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.